Hello, this is a demo for the KASKO Self Service Tool, the product builder. And I would like to take you through the journey of setting up a product from scratch. So for any PM who wants to start a new project, we typically look at two things. Typically the customer journey, which includes the mockup and all the questions we will ask in a web app, and the pricing. These two parts have to be created and confirmed before we start building the actual product. So for this demo, let's look at the first part first. So the customer journey. I'll be using this mockup app that we developed. So this is a drag and drop tool that any PM or non-technical person can use. So as you can see, I've already created a flow, but creating a new screen on this tool is fairly simple. So you can drop any questions you create and you can add new fields here. Either it's quote relevant or just policy data, and then you can arrange them as well. So based on your product nature, you might create 10 screens or 20 screens between, 10 questions or 20 questions. And once you're happy with this, you can export it to manifest field definition, content, and style. Now, these files will later be used in the product builder tool. So assuming you're happy with how the customer journey should look like and should work, what data you will be collecting, the next thing you'll be looking at is the pricing file. So at KASKO, we have a defined pricing file templates, which contains the first calculator sheets. So you can have your own formula set up in a separate sheets with a table of how the prices should look. But typically what this do is you will be linking the customer input to your version of the sheets. And once you have an input in here, for example, like this, the output should also link to whatever output you have defined in your sheets. So in this case, I've defined my calculation on this sheet. So this will be taking the calculator input and then performing some formula to come up with the total price that should be charged to the customer. So when I say templates, it's just the first sheets. So obviously you can have any kind of formula or any kind of table from your company that supports this. So once you've defined your pricing logic, we've done all the groundwork and we can start using these pieces on the product builder. So let's go to the product builder. So you will be logging into your Intro accounts and there will be a product builder section on the side menu. At the moment it's hidden, but you will be seeing, once you click that, you'll be seeing a list of already existing products, but also you can also click here to create a new product. So in this case, we'll be creating a switch product, switch motor product. And here is a dropdown of all the languages you want to support. So let's put English, but obviously you can support multiple language as well if you want. For simplicity, I'll just set up one language. And here is your product time zone, which can only select one place. And your policy prefix. So this prefix will be at the start of every policy ID. So in this case, it will be test for the policy ID will be test dash a randomly generated number, a series of randomly generated number. And then you'll be asked to put in the product admin. So this will be used should there be any updates on the product builder or any issues, any problems with the policies. This will be the person we reach out to. So the next question is whether this product has subproducts. So the subproducts works as the variants of a base product. So for example, if you have a product but you want it to be sold to different distributors, and each of them might have different emails or might have different web app. For example, the front-end customer journey might be different, or pricing might be different. Then you can configure those variants on the subproduct level, keeping the common configuration on the base product. So it works as like the product variants for you to easily configure. So in this case, we'll also be doing the simple version, so just the base product. So once you click create, you will be seeing all the settings a product would need. Some of them might be optional, some of them are essential to your products. It's based on your product nature. So let's look at them one by one. So for this demo product, I will be sending some documents. So I will need to set up my documents. So in the documents area, we separate them into static documents and dynamic documents. So the nature of the difference is that static documents is like a PDF fixed file. That's the same for everyone. So the use case most commonly will be like terms and conditions. So that will be the same for anyone purchasing this insurance product. And here you will have a list of all the languages your product supports. In this case, we just have English. And you'll be asked to select the destination. So this is to identify what kind of document this is. Now, once you upload it, you will see them on the list, and then you can go into and exchange the file if you need, or delete the file if you need. And dynamic documents is the documents that would have some dynamic data based on different policies. So for example, the name of the customer might be in the documents. So that would obviously need to change per policy basis. So the process of creating this is you create the name, for example, policy certificate. Destination, again, it's to identify what kind of document this is, and language, and also when this document should be generated. In this case, we want a policy certificate, so it's policy purchase. And the second point, the second step is to put in the HTML template code. So this would need some HTML knowledge. So in this case, I won't be setting this up. Okay, so now we've set up 2 documents. And for my demo products, I will also need to set up an email. So to set up an email, we would first need to know when this email should be sent. Again, so we want to send it when the policy is purchased. So we set up that. And the language is English. And the subject of the email should be policy purchased. And it should come from KASKO, and the email from should be this. So this will need to have a separate setup by our team at the moment to connect to your email DNS for us to be able to send with these your specific email domain. And the email recipients, you can put in dynamic. For example, if you are collecting agent emails in your web app, you can also put it here, or direct email address. For example, for example, sales@kasco.io. That would be the same for each of the policies. So that's a fixed email address. For simplicity, I also just keep it 1. And templates, again, this is HTML templates. To give you an idea of what it will look like, maybe I can open this. So if you have coded correctly, you will be able to put in your HTML like this, and you will have the preview on the side. And the last step is to select the attachment. So in this case, we've created two documents, one static and one dynamic. We want to send both. So we take them, create, and that is done. So obviously you can create multiple different emails for different email triggers. For example, when the offer is created or when a new policy version is created, etc. Now, the next step is the pricing logic. Here you will be uploading the pricing file, which you've just created, the Excel file. And here you will have to select the frequency of your payment. So for example, if it's a single payment, or if it's a recurring, and if it's recurring, what kind of frequency that is. In this case, we'll select the single payment. The validation rule is in JSON structure. So this is basically to define what data structure or what data validation we should have for all the quote fields. So in this case, I've prepared this file. In this case, we have these three fields. So current, premium payment frequency, and policy start dates. And these are the validations they should have. Basically, we just put it in here and click create. Now this will take a moment to upload. Now, next step is the payment plan. So once we have the price calculated, how should the payment be made? How should we charge the customer? So this could be, for example, Stripe payment or the invoice payment. And here you will have the options to select single payment or recurring payments. And if it's recurring, what's the frequency? So this will have to link with what your pricing set up to support. So you can't have a pricing supporting yearly payment, but you only set up the payment plan to support monthly. So obviously that's a mismatch. So because we set up the pricing as single payment, so we'll select single payment here. And here is whatever payment method is available in your account. So in this case, we've set up this insurer payment method in this account. So we can do, okay, that's the only one we can select here. Now that's also done. And obviously you can create multiple different payment plans. For example, you can have invoice, but you can also allow customers to pay by credit cards or PayPal, etc. Now, next step is the web app. Web app is essentially defining what the customer front-end journey should look like. And remember the mock-up app we previously showed? So this one, when we export it, we would get a file that you can use. So this is the web app file, and you can basically just upload it and hit create. Yeah, and then you can come in here and see the framework and plugins, and then you can also download the file that you've uploaded to check as well. The next step is the field definition, which defines all the data on the front end, or the data your product collects and the structure of them. So this is also one of the exports from this mockup app. So the field definition here, which we also have in here. So it is saying this media is not set up yet, so we'll leave them out for now, and we'll go there once we are ready. So as you can see, It defines all the data your web app is collecting and defining what validation rules they should have. Once you are fine, you select Save. And next step is the content. So this fills in all the content streams for your web app. Again, this is something from this mockup app as well. So if you are going through your flow, you will be able to set them up here. And when you export it, you will also get the content files. So in this case, we just copy paste from here. So if you click save, that's done as well. Now, one thing to note is if your product supports multiple different languages, you'll have a drop down here. So you have to fill in all the translations as well. So if you have 5 different languages, you will need to go through them one by one and filling like date of birth, what should that be in French and German, etc. The last step is custom upload. So this is, for example, if your product would ask customers to upload receipts or images of the item or any documentation or images, this is the place for you to set them up. For example, this would be document, review document. And this is when you define when this media should be uploaded. And it's, in this case, let's set it before an offer is created. And for you to select what kind of extensions, what kind of file format this should be. So support all 4. And the max file size would be limited 2 MB per file. And one thing to note here is if you want to include this media upload in your email, obviously you don't want to create too many uploads so that your email would be more than 10 MB or 20 MB, and then there will be delivery issues. So once you create that, you can see here, and we can come back to what we left out here previously. So if you want to properly use the customer upload feature, you also need to define the validation for that in your field definition, which was what we deleted earlier because that wasn't set up earlier yet. So let's check what's written there. So we need to add this in. So basically, yeah, this is saying we have a media called review documents, which we just set up. And the validation rules is that you can have minimum 0 file or maximum 1 file. So it's optional, it's not required. And the customer cannot upload more than one file. So that's good. And once you save a change, you see the diff view as well. Okay, so basically you can see all the product setting is complete. Now is when your product is set up, you want different distributor or different channel to sell it. So this is what we call integrations. So in essence, integration is an outlet channel, a distribution channel, which sells your products. So this one, let's call it just distributor. And because it's a distribution channel, you have to link it with a specific distributor. So in this case, we only have one, which is our direct distributor. So we just select this. And once you create, you will see them here. Now, there are a few things you can do specific on the distributor level. So you can add specific CSS to create tiny bit of different colors per page or slightly different styling. And also you can add Google Analytics keys. So you can basically do this. And then you can track how your web app is doing for this specific distributor. And also you can add discount per distributor. For example, in this case, we want to support 10% discount for this distributor. So you just put in 10. And obviously this will have to work with how your pricing file is set up. So in your pricing file, you will see this discount field. So if you put 10, and let's try this to see. So if we don't have any discount, it's directly what the current premium is. But if you put in 10% discount, it applied directly to the output value. So that's something you should consider. If you want to apply discounts, this field should also feed into your formula. So this is where you have to take into account in your separate calculation sheets. So if that's set up correctly, we have the product set up and we have the distribution channel set up. Now, when everything is set up, you can go ahead and publish. So on the published view, you will see all the changes. They are currently only in test mode, and all the integrations that will be impacted. In this case, we found one integration that wasn't live, and it has the product that wants to go live. So it's asking you if you want to go live for both together. So in this case, we want them both to go live. Yeah, so if your product doesn't have any unpublished changes, you should be able to see this green light. If you have unpublished changes, you will see that red alarms. So now you can go to your distributor and open the web app. So open the web app allows you to, after you publish, you can open the web app. If you have different versions of the products, for example, if you have some unpublished changes on either the base product level or the integration level, you'll be able to see how that affects the version. And in this case, it's all synced. So we only have one version. And let's open the web app to buy a test policy, so we don't need to make actual payments. So as you can see, this is what we just created, an actual web app from this mockup. And you can go through the flow, select the dates, email address. So these are all these data should comply to all the validation rules you just put in the field definition. And now you have a working web app. So these will be following what we've set up here. Okay, so apart from setting up a product, this also allows you to do any product updates. So for example, if you have any new documents you want to add to your product, here's for you to also upload new documents. For example, we want to add this one, test, language, and different definition. And yeah, basically, if you want to make any changes to any of the configuration, you go through the similar steps, upload a new pricing, create a new documents, a new email, a new web app files, and then you will see these unpublished changes. And you will be able to go through the published process. And also, one useful tip is before you publish the change, you can open the web app with or without your changes, just to see whether the changes you're making works correctly on the test web app, so that you can guarantee that the publish will not break anything. So this is a brief demo of the Product Builder self-service tool. I hope this helped you get a rough understanding of how the tool works and all the configuration and concepts as well. Thank you. Bye.